Hey guys, this is our last installment of the reading Where in the World is Calcium Carbonate? We were in the middle of talking about the types of limestone. We said there was petroleum limestone, and we said there was reef limestone, which is the organic material of the skeletons of the coral. The red wall limestone in the Grand Canyon includes fossil corals and also reef-dwelling organisms. So the Grand Canyon also had an oceanic environment before it was the Grand Canyon in the desert. The fossils suggest that the Redwall limestone was deposited, again, that word deposit, deposition, left there in the warm tropical sea. So there was a warm tropical sea prior to the Grand Canyon. And when the river eroded, forming the walls of the Grand Canyon, they revealed these limestone creatures that have over time been there. So that's the reef. So we have next is chalk. Big reveal. Where did we see this all before? In our mystery mixture with chalk. Chalk is a powdery, fine-grained rock. It is almost pure calcite. It may be composed of the remains of algae called coccoliths. Coccoliths once lived in shallow seas. Chalk can also form from broken shells or precipitate. There's the word precipitate, the solid that comes out of solution, or a solid product that is formed from a chemical reaction. It precipitates out. When the water goes away or the solution goes away and evaporates, you get a precipitate, much like in our video that we watched yesterday. Much of the chalk on Earth was deposited, again the word deposition, on continental shelves around 70 million years ago. So the White Cliffs here of southern England and the Austin chalk that covers that covers much of Texas formed them. Here's the White Cliffs of Dover in England. Another form is coquina. Coquina is made most entirely of fossil bits. The limestone is mostly small shells and shell fragments cemented together. Cementation, another aspect of sedimentary rocks. The source material for coquina is similar to the sand on some beaches in the Florida Keys. It is, again, remnants of these shells. Tufa. Here we go, talking about tufa. There's the tufa towers. They provide a unique environment for the Mono Lake creatures. But tufa forms in cool, carbonate-rich lake water. The calcium-rich spring water enters the lake. Carbon dioxide is released, and calcium carbonate precipitates. Again, that word precipitates. The carbon dioxide goes off, and you're left with that solid calcium carbonate in the form of that tufa. Last type is travertine. Some of you did travertine, I think. I'm going to give a shout out to maybe Alyssa Garber, who did it as one of her landforms. But travertine is a calcium carbonate rock that is hard and dense. It is often deposited around hot springs, like those in Yellow National Park. It is Grand Canyon. The travertine forms terraces in hot mineral springs. I believe that Alyssa did the China terraces, though. But again, hot springs, travertine. It comes across as these travertine layers. Okay. Lastly, we have caves. We learned about this in the video yesterday. When you see rock fizz, drops of acid, you witness chemical weathering. Okay. Chemical weathering is happening in the caves. Groundwater that contains dissolved limestone forms a calcium carbonate solution. When the solution drips from the cracks, the top of the caves, it reacts with the air, dripping, and the air comes in. The calcium carbonate can, again, that word precipitate. The solid comes out of the liquid from the gas reaction. The calcium carbonate crystals form spikes on the ceiling called stalactites and pillars on the floor called stalagmites. When the stalactites and stalagmites meet, they form structures called columns. They can even join together to make columns. So guys, that's our things about limestone. How is limestone formed and what types of limestone there are, and the caves, limestone caves. Most of our cave structures are made of the limestone. Here's our think questions. Again, if I could wink and think. The think questions are going to be asked in some form on our Ed puzzle here, but also on the check-in. What are some properties of mineral calcite? That was in our first reading. I'm even giving you a hint. What is a test that will reveal the presence of calcite? Okay, what do the scientists take around with them that would show them? If they want to say, hey, is this rock made of calcite, limestone? What do they put on it? And describe some rock formations that are likely to be made of calcium carbonate. That would be the rock formations or the types of limestone that we just talked about.